Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back again. Friends, let me tell you how a single decision brought this couple's entire future to a standstill. What happened that day, after which they never saw the outside world again. It's Maya and Bob Singh's wedding anniversary, so they're heading out on a short trip. They're starting their day by the ocean, planning to spend some happy moments together before moving on to their next stop. While they're there, Maya spots a beautiful island far away and really wants to visit it. Bob isn't too keen on going, but he gives in because it's a special day and he tells her, let's try something new and explore. But they had no idea that this decision would turn their lives upside down. They put their little rubber boat in the water and started heading straight for the island. But as soon as they stepped onto the island, they realized that things often look much nicer from a distance than they really are. The place was completely deserted and barren. There was nothing but silence everywhere. But Maya insisted, we've come all this way, so let's explore properly. Otherwise, coming here would be pointless. So both of them started walking around the island, and soon they came across some old rusty machinery. Looking at the machines, they guessed that maybe traders worked here a long time ago, or maybe scientists did some experiments and left all their junk behind. What do you think it could be? They climbed up to the highest spot on the island, took some photos, and enjoyed the peace. But then Bob noticed that the sky was getting darker. Could it be a sign that a big storm is coming? Bob started to worry and decided it's time to leave, since staying longer could be risky. When they put their small boat into the water, it only managed to go a short distance. By that time, the storm had become really intense. If they stayed in the water much longer, they might get swept away. So they quickly decided to turn back, which was the right call for now. Now, they were stuck spending the night on the island. They set up a small shelter in a corner and spent the night, barely getting any sleep. But the next morning was tough. When they looked out at the sea, their boat was nowhere to be found. Maya suspected that maybe Bob Singh forgot to drop the anchor in his hurry, but he was confident that he had. Maybe the boat got swept away during last night's storm. So they set out in their little boat to search for it. But even after searching far and wide, they didn't find anything. They just couldn't find the boat anywhere. Maybe what Maya said turned out to be true, but Bob still couldn't believe it, even after circling the whole island. Now, he had to accept that he really messed up. Meanwhile, Bob noticed their small boat was almost out of fuel too. He quickly turned off the engine and started paddling. At this point, it was safer to return to the island and wait for help instead of risking it out at sea. So, they turned back toward the island. Now hunger and thirst started to set in. This was going to be their toughest challenge yet, just staying alive. They climbed to the tallest hill, hoping to spot help nearby. But there was just more wilderness as far as they could see. They did find clean water trickling down from a rock, and that finally eased their thirst. They even found some small insects near the water and ate them to get a bit of energy back. Then it hit them. If they wanted someone to rescue them, they'd need to signal for help. So they decided to make a big SOS sign. They got to work right away and built an SOS sign using sticks they found nearby. But without a phone or any kind of radio, there was no way to actually call for help. All they could do now was wait. And who knows, maybe that wait would be a month, a year, or even a lifetime. But you should always keep trying. If they gave up, that would be the end. So they found some cans in an old ruined cottage. They used the cans to store water for themselves. One day while exploring, Bob came across 3 graves on top of a hill. It was proof that others had lived and died on the island before them. Maybe someone else had been trapped here, just like them. Time kept moving slowly. Day turned to night, then afternoon, and then back to day again. But everything stayed just the same. Everything stayed exactly the same. And with so little food, they were getting weaker every day. Bob tried to encourage Maya, telling her that they had to keep fighting. He said, we need to stay brave or we'll give up too soon. All of this is just a challenge. He told her that better and happier days were waiting for them ahead. But Maya didn't feel any stronger inside after hearing all this. It's something you can clearly see. She even fainted while working, so Bob quickly carried her back to the hut. After thinking all night, Bob decided he couldn't just sit there and do nothing. He won't fill his stomach just by sitting idle. He needed to take action, so he made a sharp tool. The next morning, when Maya was feeling a bit better, Bob took her to the other side of the island, where there were lots of penguins gathered. So now, seeing all those penguins, you can probably guess what Bob plans to do next. His wife was not ready for this because she did not want to kill someone to feed herself. But Bob Singh knew that if he didn't do it, he wouldn't survive for long. So he killed a penguin. And after a few days, they ate something positive which brought life back into him. Now, slowly their lives began to improve because now they have food and water, but mostly they don't achieve much. So they went back to the place they went before. But when they saw the silence there, their panic increased because now they couldn't see a single penguin, which completely broke Maya. Because they returned to where they started. Seeing the trouble, Maya said that they should go back to the sea. Maybe a passing ship will see us and help us. But Bob refused because they wouldn't find food or the right direction in the sea. There are many dangers. At least they are safe here, but Maya is now worried. This thought keeps coming to her mind repeatedly. Maybe something will happen to him, or he might die of hunger. Suddenly, they saw a ship's light. They immediately ran to the shore and started shouting. But if those on the moon shout to those on the ground, what can they hear? This is something they should understand too. If they had lit a fire or created some smoke, maybe they would have been seen. Shortly after, Maya tries to light a fire. But in the meantime, Bob takes the small boat and jumps into the sea. He said he was going to get closer to the ship so they would notice him and come to help. But Maya shouts at him to come back. There's a lot of danger there. But he wasn't willing to listen because this was the only chance he couldn't let slip away. He increased his speed and went after it. Friends, after going a short distance, what we already knew happened. His boat ran out of fuel, causing it to stop, and he couldn't go further. Although he came a long way, he couldn't reach the ship, and the hope of his survival disappeared before him, leaving him helpless. Maya stood far away, yearning alone for her husband, but he didn't return, which completely broke her. Now, what will she do alone? But she had no choice but to go back to the hut. So she went there and started praying. In the morning, someone knocked on the door, and when she went to open it, she saw Bob there. He was hurt and she hugged him tightly right away. She brought him inside and he explained that while returning, his boat couldn't withstand a massive wave and sank, causing him to crash into a rock, injuring his leg severely. But he didn't lose courage. He somehow managed to make it back. Now his injury is causing him pain, so Maya laid him down. Then she heated the knife and joined his veins. The pain was so terrible that he fainted. But now Maya understands that things have come down to her. Now she has to take care of everything, whether it's food or water, because her husband is not in a condition to walk for some time. In the morning, when he regained consciousness, he said he didn't do it intentionally because he knew things would be very difficult for Maya. But she encouraged him and explained that nothing like that would happen. She will manage everything. Slowly, the days began to pass again. You might not have realized it, but they've spent more than a month living here. Since then, they have been living together in this desolate place. That's why I said in the beginning that one of their decisions would stop their time. One day, when Maya went out to get some supplies, she felt that maybe the cold was approaching because the mountains started freezing in the distance. That means the danger for them is about to increase. So she goes to her husband and says that they should leave this place now. But Bob refuses because he is not in a condition to walk. But Maya said yes on the surface. But inside, she knows that this time is very difficult for them, and they have to take some steps or they'll both die here. Due to the cold, her husband has never been able to make difficult decisions, which is why he couldn't catch the ship that day. That same morning, Maya said, "We should head out to the sea. Maybe someone will see us there." Maybe if he had listened to her that day, the ship might have seen them in the sea. But there's no use in regretting. Some decision has to be made. So one night, while he was sleeping, she took some supplies and went out alone, with the hope that when she returns, she'll bring someone along who will help them. Someone has to take the step. But this journey is not going to be easy, because the cold has arrived, and the freezing winds keep blowing continuously. There's nothing but white snow everywhere, but Maya keeps going. It seems like she's determined. This time it will be do or die. She even slept there at night on the snow itself. The next morning she set out walking once again. But eventually she reached a point where she just couldn't go any further. Her strength gave out. So Maya rubbed cold snow on her face to stay awake and keep herself going. After 3 long and exhausting days, she finally spotted a red building in the distance. It was either a research center or maybe it felt like hope itself to Maya. She ran inside, but there was no one around. But luckily, there was plenty of food and warm clothes. First, she cleaned herself up and got refreshed. Then she ate as much as she wanted and explored the place. She thought maybe she'd run into someone, but there was no one there. But at least there was a snowboard there. It was like Maya had been given a new lease on life. She quickly grabbed some food supplies and hurried back towards her hut. By the time she reached, it was already dark. But when she got there, she saw that a huge storm had destroyed the hut and her husband was trapped underneath the wreckage. His whole body was frozen solid. She quickly dragged him to the boat and brought him back to the station, wrapping him up in warm clothes. Little by little, his body started to warm up and he began to recover. Now, both of them were finally happy. They had a safe place to stay. And Bobby was almost back to normal. One night, they even danced together, and then finally, the day they had waited for, 42 days, arrived. The scientists' team had arrived there. That meant they were finally safe. Maya rushed to hug Bobby, knowing everything would be okay now. And with that, the story comes to an end. Friends, we've created this space just for you. If you have any questions for us, feel free to drop them in the comments below. We'll make sure to answer your questions soon. Alright, see you in the next video. Thanks a lot for watching. Peace out.